Whoop, whoop, what's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you're all having a great week. Thank you for chilling with us here on another wonderful Tuesday night. Hopefully NXT was a great show. Got to check out our boys Jimmy T and Dr. Jeff Lippman with their show earlier tonight. Was good shit. Whoop, whoop. How y'all doing, giggity, giggity? It's HMG After Dark, and we're kicking it. Tonight's content will be Dark Side of the Ring, the killing of Bruiser Brody. So without further ado, let's get it. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, pal.
It's a brand new series from Dark Side.
We're watching it live on Tubi.
And bonus clips from the cutting room floor. I thought I might get all hosted by Conrad Thompson.
What the hell did we just watch?
This is Dark Side of the Ring, Confidential.
Welcome to Dark Side of the Ring Confidential. I'm your host, Conrad Thompson, and joining me at the table today are the creators of this fantastic series, Evan Hudson.
Get me Conrad Thompson, pal. That's what we need.
Special episode, The Killing of Bruiser Brody. We're going to watch the show along with you. We're going to answer a lot of unanswered questions, and we've even got a very compelling interview from a voice you didn't hear in this episode, Savio Vega. He'll join us a little later, but first we should talk about the making of this episode. This is essentially the Dark Side of the Ring pilot, right, guys?
Wow, yeah, it all really started here. This is the first episode of the show that we ever made. Jason and I grew up as huge wrestling fans, and we both came from the film background. And then he and I got together, and we were like, man, we should make like a scripted series about wrestling.
Kind of like the Sopranos, Boogie Nights version of the world of wrestling. And it just blew over every executive's head.
As soon as they heard wrestling, they just tuned out. So we were like, well, I guess we'll have to make a documentary or two first. And it was kind of like to prove that, hey, there's some real stories here that non-wrestling fans would be interested in. And right around this time, we got infatuated with Bruiser Brody.
Oh yeah, that like the Bruiser Brody, man. That like there's so much behind, like so much we don't know with that.
Fourth wall, all this stuff gets lost in the mix. So we thought this was just ripe for rediscovery.
Well, stay tuned. Time for our main event. Act 1 of The Killing of Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, pal.
Puerto Rico. His menacing looks gave him the reputation of a madman inside the ring, but a longtime wrestling promoter and others remember a very different man.
If you could picture a man coming in the ring, 6'6", 6'7", 350-some pounds, he looked like danger coming. It was the kind of danger you were drawn to.
People would actually run from him. They just all run and scatter. He had a chain. He sometimes hit people with it.
Is that New Jack?
Fucking guy. Bruiser Brody's larger-than-life presence and in-ring brutality delivered an undeniable authenticity to professional wrestling.
You know, I could see New Jack being inspired by Bruiser Brody. I could totally see that. Whoop, whoop, what's up, Game Wolfers? Good to see you, pal. Giggity, giggity. Hope you're having a great evening, pal. Whoop, whoop.
He bled out of the ring into real life when Bruiser Brody was violently killed in a locker room. In the world of professional wrestling, it is still the only sport where its characters live in two worlds, where fantasy bleeds out into reality.
And vice versa.
And more than any other, I wish I could have had the opportunity.
Yeah, man, that was beyond fucked what happened to him, man. Way beyond fucked. Terrible.
The stories I've heard surrounding Brody's death have always troubled me. After 30 years, we tracked down 3 wrestlers willing to tell their version of what happened that night and to chronicle the life and death of one of wrestling's greatest outlaws. Just in case you don't know who I am, I'm Tony, Mr. USA, Atlas, called it shoulder, everything to hip.
Power, power, too sweet to be sour.
One of the last people to see Bruiser Brody alive was Mr. USA Tony Atlas, a former bodybuilder turned wrestler and a current WWE Hall of Fame. Okay, LT, stand up. Take the full out over the top. Cameraman, watch out.
It's the shittiest finish I've ever seen.
Dirty Dutch Mantel is one of the business's most infamous villains in front of the camera.
It has the taste to turn into your mouth after I slapped it a few seconds ago.
And one of wrestling's greatest minds behind the scenes.
In your experience, did you work with Brody?
I never did. I never had a match with Brody. What? He beat the shit out of me.
And that is the madman from the Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah was also Bruiser Brody's greatest in-ring nemesis.
All right, they picked the right guys to talk about this.
What else can I say? My name is Abdullah the Butcher. Right. I'm not a wrestler. I don't grab holds. I use karate.
Yee, what's up, Lab Rat? Good to see you, pal.
Okay? I'm not a wrestler. Time that I want to beat you up. You understand? And the guy behind the camera, give me the fork so I can stab it all in his head. Then you'll know. Let me tell you something. Don't you ever say that me and Brody was fake. We are not fakes. People would say, when I seen that match, that was no bullshit.
Yeah, give me Abby's barbecue and Chinese, but I'd like to try it out. I've heard good things.
Every night, we were like killers. We kept pounding.
When you get Abdullah Butcher and Bruiser Brody in the ring, because Abdullah had this fork. They did it every night. They was just for me.
In the head, sticking into the mouth. Do everything.
Probably 85% of the match was outside.
Dude, like looking at some of this stuff, like it seems like Abdullah the Butcher and Bruiser Brody, like that's a money program right there. Like that's a money program.
He was a superstar, and at the time, he was one of the biggest stars in the late 70s. Bruiser Brody, he was a legend. He was a legend back before he died.
Going to Austin, Texas, pal.
Well, every time I come out here, I find something new.
There's another one.
Some sentimental stuff associated with it. There's a lot of it, though.
Here's a whole pile of photographs in here. I mean, take a look at that. Oh, boy. I first met Frank in Australia in the hotel that I was working in. I had no idea of his character because I only saw Frank Goodish. I never saw Bruiser Brody. Frank was very quiet, very intelligent, even back in those days. So he never lost sight of who he was. He didn't become the character he created.
That's football knowledge.
Dude, that's kind of cool to hear about here. Brody's wife talk about that. Like Brody, like knew how to separate the character from who he was as a man.
Okay, good. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I won't. I don't think you said anything there. Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I don't think it's good that anybody knows that I'm from British. Oh, well, I don't know.
Frank was kind of a little bit of a renegade. We were together for a long time, and he just came up with this idea. Why don't we stop off in Vegas and get married? He said, I'm going to tell you now, it is not going to be an easy life. Out of that year, It was a challenge, but you do it. When Jeff was born, he changed so much because then he wanted to do it for his family and he wanted to provide for his son.
Man,
So
like this is the first time I'm seeing this. The more I'm hearing about like Frank Goodish, the man, like he seems like an awesome dude. I mean, you got his wife and his son talking about him, so it's like you can't get a better source than that.
Because those stories people are telling me, and I don't have a lot of stories of my own to tell.
It was like this character that he created, that it was separate from the person I knew. I would take him to the airport and he would just be dad, husband, get out of the car, had his hair pulled back, walk through those.
Get me Meltzer, pal. Whoop, whoop, what's up?
He became Bruiser.
In July 1988, Frank departed for a booking in Puerto Rico, an isolated wrestling territory notorious for its wild blood feuds and the zealousness of its fans.
Not all the time. Big shows, you'd have 3 or 4 matches, book it. Because remember, I told you, people believed. And they believed when you saw blood that it was serious.
The people, violent people, they wanted violence.
People throw rocks at you, they throw piss on you, they throw urine on you, they throw feces on you.
They stoned me. They used to take cups, put glass or stones and throw them at me. They want to see somebody get hurt. They want to see somebody get carried out on a stretcher. Every place you go, they love violence.
Dude, yeah, dude. Puerto Rican fans were crazy back in the day, pal. They were nuts.
Weekly planners, 1987, 1988. Regiment and where it's traveling to. San Juan, Puerto Rico, of all places. It was the
Oh, no doubt, pal. No doubt. Old habits die hard. Whoop, whoop.
Family in Texas and entered one of the most violent wrestling territories in the world.
Maybe more than the others even. It's a labor of love, right?
This story captivated.
Oh, shit, damn.
It's like this true crime.
I can only imagine the stories he's got.
Place in a wrestling locker. You know, and that to us,
Dude, the wrestling scene in Puerto Rico, dude.
Bill was fake and the rest. Family side of wrestling stories.
Yeah, when we sat down with Barbara British, his widow, she was absolutely amazing. She never got. Act 2, the killing of Bruiser Brody.
Act 2, pal. Well, we are getting to watch this for free, so we gotta deal with the commercial breaks, pal.
Drive Time has a big announcement. An even easier way to buy a car. You make the deal yourself.
I made the deal myself.
Make the deal yourself, pal.
It lets you customize the real down payment and monthly payment of the car you want to buy.
I make the deal myself?
It's your car. You should make the deal you want.
You can customize terms on literally thousands.
Get the real deal at drivetime.com. When my hair started to thin, I thought, am I going to have any hair?
After I gave birth, my hair wasn't even thinning, it was gone.
When I spoke to my dermatologist, he immediately pointed me in the direction of Nutrafol.
It's 100% drug-free and clinically tested.
Within 3 months, my hair was fuller.
It's longer, it's so much thicker.
I had more scalp coverage.
It's so nice to be noticed for my hair after hiding it for so many years.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
We got eyes on the $3.99 Crazy Puffs. They look delicious.
Dude, those Crazy Puffs are actually a pretty good idea.
Pizza. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first.
Okay, let's get going.
You know to check your desktop first before sharing your screen.
Like, damn, it's going pretty long, pal.
No. How that got in there? No,
Yeah, checking first is smart.
okay, everybody get out.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Give me Allstate, pal. Of course, I use Progressive, which is kind of ironic.
Who was up next? But first, we should touch on what we saw before the break. You guys actually went to the old storage locker. What was that like?
There were so many things in there that just absolutely blew our mind. And Evan actually had the foresight right there to ask him to look up the dates in which Brody traveled to Puerto Rico.
Well, now that we've met Brody's family, the point of view on the story changes to his locker roommates. And there are some firsthand accounts from folks who were there that night in Puerto Rico. Watch this.
In the summer of Texas, and entered one of the most violent wrestling territories in the world. It wasn't only his Puerto Rican fans who were waiting for his return. Some unresolved business and a bitter, long-standing grudge. The World Wrestling Council is Puerto Rico's main wrestling promotion, which was established by wrestlers Gorilla Monsoon, Victor Jovica, and Carlos Colon.
Oh, well, Gorilla Monsoon had a hand in it. I had no idea.
Curtis Colon was the boss. He's also a WWE Hall of Famer now.
He was probably his biggest star, Roberto Clemente.
Carlos Colon's right-hand man was Jose Fuertes Gonzalez, a local wrestler celebrated in the ring as Invader #1. Gonzalez also acted as the company's booker, the person in charge of the creative direction and outcomes of wrestling shows. Frank understood the value of his character, consistently appearing as an unbeatable monster to fans, as a way to keep them coming back for more. He wrestled a young Jose Gonzalez when Gonzalez was hoping to make a big impression in the WWF.
Brody and Invader, they didn't really care for each other. Their personalities did not mesh. Even their matches, you could tell there was something not quite right.
He was a pretty decent guy if he liked you. If he didn't like you, he would beat the living crap out of you. But I just see Brody take people in the ring many a time and just beat them unmercifully. He would just beat them to death.
Well, I've tried to piece it together over the years. What brought this on? Let's go back in the past, in the mid-'70s. They were grooming, I heard, Jose Gonzalez to be like the next Puerto Rican star. Bruiser Brody came in and had a match with Jose Gonzalez and just beat the shit out of him. He ate him up.
His whole face was swollen, head was swollen up. Looked just like a punk. Brody beat him so bad that SD had to take him to the hospital. SD Special Delivery Jones, he was a wrestler. We put him in a car and
SD Jones, let's give him some love, pal.
I mean, his head looked like a punk.
Bruiser Brody was worth one image. It was Bruiser Brody. Once the people see you get beat once or twice, that brand, and he knows this, the brand becomes kind of violated, and he didn't want that to happen in this way. That's why he acted the way he did.
I don't know about the other
professional wrestlers. I only know about Bruiser Brody. And when I go in the ring, it doesn't matter whether I'm in Texas or New York, or it doesn't matter whether people like me or dislike me. I'm going to be just as aggressive every night.
I also heard that Brody was
Man,
huge money.
in a weird way, I think Bruiser Brody would have actually crossed over into the Attitude Era very well. Because he's very much like that Shades of Grey character where it's like, okay, you can update that to like the modern, you could update him to the modern times and he'd blend in perfectly.
And I think Victor can between Monsoon to sell his shares to Brody, which would have made Brody probably a minority owner.
I think he bought part of that company. They wanted his money, but they didn't want his idea.
Oh, I was not aware of this about Brody buying into the World Wrestling Council. I did not know about that. That's interesting. All right, when you start having money and control thrown around, that's when things kind of change, pal.
His job is being threatened. He doesn't like Brody in the first place. So you add all those ingredients, it's like fire and gasoline. An explosion was going to happen.
Dude, bro. That's crazy, dude.
Can I please tell the story? Tell the story. I see. Yeah. Because I've been out for 2 days. I've been talking about everything but Brody. And I want to tell this story so bad I'm ready to explode. I've been carrying this story around in my chest for how many years now? This is how me and Brody started out there. Yeah, we worked hard in the gym that morning. The same routine we did, this last day here on earth.
And it seems like Tony Atlas and Bruiser Brody were like boys.
Tony wanted to go get something to eat. So I said, oh, sure, I can go get something to eat. And then he turned to me at breakfast and he said, I waited a long time to get in down here. So I just got the impression that maybe, just maybe, that he bought in the company. And he said, you are going to see a lot of sitting on the steps outside in the front of the building. And I said, Brody, I figure you be gone by now. He said, I'm waiting on Jose Gonzalez. He's supposed to pick me up. Now, right there, I said, that's unusual. Why would Jose, the booker, leave his main event? And I said, you can ride with us if you like.
So we went to the show, and traffic was horrible leading into the stadium. Cars were lined up.
Man, there's a lot of stuff I'm learning here that I did not know before.
To where the dressing rooms were.
Now looking back on it,
I was hearing from like Dutch and Tony Atlas, like, holy shit.
Jose was sitting there. I said, he's here. As soon as I come to the door, I saw the three of them sitting there, talking. Jose, Carlos Colon, and Victor, they were sitting in the football huddle.
Yeah, it kind of seemed a little strange. Because I've never really seen them together like that. And it looked like they were in conversation. They were just sitting there, which was even more strange.
Gonzalez gets up from his seat, looked me straight in the face, and left. Never looked at Brody, never looked at Dutch, and he walked out of the dressing room.
And Brody sat down right beside me. And I sat there maybe 5 minutes. And that feeling of tension, it just got stronger. So I said, I gotta get out of here. I gotta move. I gotta something. I move around and go away.
Oh yeah, Dutch knew some shit was about to go down.
And I'm watching the crowd come in.
So I had my hot pad, I set my bag down, I set my chair, and I started sketching. Brody came over and he looked at it. He said, that is freaking fantastic. He got all excited, big smiles on his face and everything. And he said, I wonder if you could do one for me. So he opened up his little pouch, reached in, and pulled out a picture of his son. Jose came back into the dressing room. I looked up, and Jose was standing there. And he had a towel over his head. Oh, Brody, can I talk to you for a minute, please? Just like that. Can I talk to you for a minute, please?
And Brody said, yeah.
Dude.
And he walked in there.
Brody was like, just listening to that, just based off of that testimony, it sounds like Brody was completely set up.
Guys, we're starting to see a little bit from Tony Atlas here on the show. It feels like this could be a traumatic circumstance for him. Did you trigger any strong reactions with Tony?
Tony Atlas was the very first interview we did. We had never really interviewed a wrestler before. So we wound up interviewing this guy for 2 straight days. But I do remember that in that interview, there was a transport of quality where he was back in that locker room in 1988.
Yeah, and he really wanted to get it up. That's why we left in that moment where we're just rolling while we're like setting up. Tony is just telling us, he's pleading to us. He needed to get this like off his chest.
And then I remember like breaking it down. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, let's go through every single piece. And that's what I think triggered him. It was like, oh, wow, we have to kind of check ourselves. Yeah, this was a heavy, heavy thing for him.
Damn, man, that's crazy shit, pal.
The killing of Bruiser Brody.
Oh, the commercials. They got to pop up. Fuck. Nebraska, Ohio State. Yeah, pal. All right, since it's commercial break time, it's Smoky Toki time, pal. Whoop, whoop, turning the fan on. Yeah, pal.
Always was sketching, always was drawing. So we had him draw us a portrait, which Jason has here.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, this is so cool. It's one of my prizes.
Whoop, whoop.
Pointillism, is that
Yeah,
what you call that?
it's all little.
As well. So I just love his style.
Yeah.
I just think it's all cool.
Coming up next, it's Act 3 in the killing of Bruiser Brody.
In Puerto Rico, before his match, Bruiser Brody is summoned to a private meeting with talent booker Jose Gonzalez. There was a history of bad blood between Brody and Gonzalez, and wrestler Tony Atlas is witness to the growing tension.
He got a bag in his hand, picture of his son in this hand. And when he turned away with the picture, that's when I noticed Carlos staring at me. As I'm looking at Carlos, I hear this sound. So I looked up. Brody was halfway hunched over. I thought Jose punched him in the stomach. That's what I thought. That the first thought came to me, damn, he hit Brody. I said, oh, this is going to be a fight. So then he hollered again. I looked at Jose's face and his eyes was bloodshot red. Then I saw the knife. The knife went in the air like this, with blood dripping off of it. I sprung up out of my chair, wrapped my arm around Brody's waist.
Dude, so basically Tony Atlas witnessed a fucking murder.
That's how sharp that knife was. Carlos shoot right by me. And he grabbed Jose and pushed him up against the wall and said, "No, Jose, no, Jose." And Carlos was keeping people away from Jose, telling the wrestlers, "Y'all stay back, stay back." So I take Brody and I take him and I lay him down on the ground. I felt his intestines and blood all over his arm. And this whole arm was dripping.
Dude.
He looked up at me. He said, "Brother, don't let him hurt me no more. Please, brother, don't let him hurt me no more." He said, "Don't let them." Not him, them. That's why I didn't know who the hell he was talking about. Who else is involved in this? I'm thinking. I said, "Ain't no fucking body gonna do anything to you." Carlos tried to approach Brody after I laid him down. I told Carlos, I said, "Don't bring your ass over here. I will knock your motherfucking head right off the shoulder." He said, "Tony, calm down." I said, "Fuck calming down." I said, "Y'all just stand down." I had nothing to do with it. I said, "You're a goddamn lie." I said, "Y'all work together." So then Brody tugged at my leg. And he said, "Let him over."
So as I make my way back through the tunnel, I could hear the noise. It was kind of dark in there, but I could see the lights in the dressing room. Something was going on. And that's when I asked Mark Youngblood what happened. He said, Invader stabbed Brody. The dressing room is in a panic. And I see Brody laying in front of me. And Carlos is leaning over him, talking to him.
He said, "Brody, is there anything I could do for you?" That's what Carlos asked Brody. Brody said, "Just take care of my family."
And I don't know what Carlos was saying, but I'm sure he's saying, "Hang on there, man. We're going to get you help. We're going to get you help." But I do remember Brody looking up at Carlos and telling Carlos, "Tell my wife I love her." That's the only thing I heard him say. So that right there tells me that he doesn't have a lot of faith in his own survival. The shower had a door on it that wasn't clear.
Damn, man, that's some wild shit. Damn.
He never came out. And he was in there with Jovica, who was part owner of the company. And they were screaming at each other. Nothing I could really do. Just watch. He walked out of the shower, walked around Brody's feet, went to his bag, got his keys, and he left. And his shirt, they said, was torn. Which tells me that whatever happened in that shower, that it was a physical confrontation, Brody ripping the shirt.
It took at least 35 to 45 minutes for the ambulance to get there. They tried to put Brody on the gurney. They couldn't lift him. Brody about 300 some pounds. So I got down in the squat position, squatted all the way down, and slid my arm underneath him. And he looked up at me and said, "Don't you drop me." And I said, "Don't worry, brother. I curl more than what you weigh." So I pulled him gently and laid him to the back of the ambulance to shut and lock the door. He said, "Before I shut the door, is there anybody here that want to go with him to keep his company?" So I said, "I go." And I jumped and got on that. And I remember guys looked at me like, "What in the fuck is wrong with Tony? He should stay out of this." You can almost feel they thinking this. Nobody was saying nothing, but you can almost feel that they were thinking, "What is wrong with him?"
Like I've said before, I'm not a religious person. Never have been. Probably never will be. But I did go and say, "Lord, pray for Brody, for whatever worth it could be. If it could help him die, it couldn't hurt."
They were sitting there in the ambulance. Brody was laying there, and I started crying again. I mean, I couldn't hold back the tears. And I sung this song. "If like Dixie, I don't want to go." My voice got choked up. Everything got choked up. I just told him, I said, "You're going to be all right, brother." I said, I'm going to stay with you, man. I said, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
There's an old saying in professional wrestling: consider yourself lucky if you make it out with one true friend. On this night, Brody had that true friend in Tony Atlas. But he would need more than that to make it out alive.
That's rough, pal.
First happened that night in the locker room. I can't help but wonder, though, did you guys try to speak to Jose Gonzalez or Carlos Colon?
I spoke to Carlos several times, and we tried to get him on board, but ultimately he decided to pass. And similarly with Jose Gonzalez, a couple of times where we tried to contact him, actually got him on the phone, and he pretended that he wasn't Jose Gonzalez.
Yeah, there's only two people who know. Saying so, it would be interesting to hear his side of the story.
One of the things I'm most fascinated with this episode is that you managed to find actual footage of Frank Goodich talking, not Bruiser Brody. Where did you find that?
Well, it was pretty wild because it's existed on YouTube. We actually always wanted higher quality footage of it. And somebody that we met along the way hooked us up with the guy who actually shot the interview, because nobody of that territory era really, you never see them out of character talking about that person versus persona aspect of the business.
All right, guys, this is a pretty heavy topic that we're covering today, the killing of Bruiser Brody. But we're going to like shooting with one of wrestling's most colorful characters, Abdullah the Butcher. You don't want to miss it. Stay here.
Get me Abby, pal.
Dark Side of the Ring Confidential is back, and we're right in the middle of watching the killing of Bruiser Brody. You guys had some interesting experience shooting some of these scenes, to say the least. That's really one of the side of the ring.
Looks like I can turn this fan off. Whoop whoop.
Be no one crazier than Abdullah the Butcher. What was it like sitting down with Abdullah the Butcher in real life?
Just like piecing it together. We have to find a way to connect to him somehow. And so I called him up and I was like, hey, let's take you out for a
Abdullah.
just talk. So where do you want to go? Is there any place you want to go? And I'm thinking like, he's
Come
lived
on,
in Atlanta for years. He's got to know
dude.
Legit place.
What that's a reference to. There's one time, me and a group of guys, we were traveling. We were on, me and some other wrestlers. We were on a road trip to Austin, Texas, from
and that sort of
from the Midwest.
But anyway, we took him to Red
And we were all in a van, and we had a TV set up and an N64, and somebody had a Japanese game that had the same engine as like WCW versus NWO, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy.
So I mean, anything he
But it was all like, it was like Japanese based, and they had Kamala and Abdullah the Butcher on it.
Jason, what can you tell us about your experience with Abdullah?
I don't know what got into
And one of the things they did was like sometimes like the announcer would yell at Abdullah, Kamala, and that became like a running gag with us on the drive.
And he took a pair of scissors and he stuck them in his mouth and he started chasing me around. I wasn't expecting it. And he wasn't letting off. Like he was really like coming. Yeah, I'm just like trying to back up and I'm like, oh.
And just to add to the bizarreness of filming with this wrestling legend this day, like one thing I'll never forget, he had this amazing room that we show in the episode where, he's got the nunchucks on the wall and he's got the sights and he's got all these things. It was just this amazing home. But we're in this incredible room and it's like one of the coolest looking rooms I've ever seen, all this ninja attire everywhere. As we finished filming a segment there with him, he turns to us and he goes, you know how long it's been since I've been in this room? And this is like a room in his house. Like, it's not like, in a secret compartment. Like, it's just in his house. It's like 8 years, which is totally crazy.
It's like one of the main rooms.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. But the key important thing is that when we showed him footage of Brody, when we showed him interacting, that's what I think started to crack his facade, where he was like not being as gimmicky. And you're starting to see the Larry side of Abdullah the Butcher and him kind of unlocking more of his emotions. That was super cool.
We also managed to unlock.
Yeah, dude, that actually is pretty cool. The way it set it up of him watching that old footage of him and Brody, and you start seeing Abdullah the Butcher, the man, come out, like the actual human being behind the character.
I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. So I remember we were like, "Hey, do you remember that?" And he had this flashback to it of being like, "Oh, yeah, do you remember recording that?"
We put the song on a speaker. I set the speaker on his car, and he just sat up there smoking cigars, and we just jammed those tunes with him.
I can't believe this is real, but ladies and gentlemen, this is Abdullah the Butcher singing.
Dude, this is cool. I like this. Like, that's actually.
What the hell did we just watch?
Oh man, I mean, it was cool because I think we really took him back, and he was very proud of that song.
Yeah, the whole day was so intense. So after our interview,
Like, I'm sorry. I like that kind of stuff, man. I'm sorry.
it's pretty fun.
When we come back, we're going to hear from the guys about who they believe, Tony Atlas or Abdullah the Butcher. It's next on Dark Side of the Ring Confidential.
Oh boy.
The following includes exclusive commentary from the show's producer and director. This commentary is unrehearsed, may contain controversial statements, and reflects the opinions of the people speaking and not Vice TV.
Dark Side of the Ring Confidential is back, and we're in the middle of watching The Killing of Bruiser Brody. Guys, without giving any spoilers, Abdullah the Butcher or Tony Atlas?
This is the first time that we were faced with a timeline that didn't quite work.
When we walked away from that Abdullah the Butcher interview, we felt like we didn't know if we were just completely worked the whole time. And so we felt like that would be interesting for the audience to experience kind of the same thing that we're experiencing.
All right, well, let's get back to it. This tragic tale. It's the killing of Bruiser Brody.
Tony Atlas finally made it to the hospital with Bruiser Brody in critical condition. Although Atlas's struggle to save Brody's life was far from over.
We get to the hospital, and he lay there for probably about 15 or 20 minutes. I got freaking tired of waiting on the doctor. So I finally got one doctor that spoke a little bit of English. And I said, I've been telling people my friend been stabbed. How come nobody going to see him? He told me, he said, a stabbing here is like a cold in the U.S.
Damn, bro.
He said, I will get to him when I can. And turned to walk away from him. I grabbed him around the waist, yanked him up, all the way up on my shoulder, just like this. And I carried him into Brody. So finally, he looked at Brody. He lifted Brody's hand up. It was like the whole time, just like this. At the same time he lifted his hand up, I remember I was taking his shoes off. When I saw his feet, and it was blue. Oh, no. Because I knew this is real bad. So I said, doctor, please get him in now. You got to go now. He started calling on people. Come on. We need some help here. I got so freaking mad.
Yeah, I kind of tend to believe Tony Atlas a little bit more. Like, he's very vivid and detailed.
Rumors began to fly, and word reached across the stadium to Abdullah the Butcher in a second dressing room.
The doctor came and says, Brody was cut or stabbed or whatever. I said, come on. I thought it was a joke. In my opinion, I thought he was working an angle. But when the doctor told me, then I said, holy shit. The doctor wouldn't be lying. Brody he'd already been taken out. But the police walked in and thinking, well, it's just another crazy, wild wrestling brawl.
I was banging on the operating room door talking about what the fuck is going on in there? What's going on in there? And the doctor came out. And he said, Tony, he had 2 8-inch cuts. He said, we got his intestines back together. He said, the only problem we have now is that his liver was sliced. He said, but what you need to do, you need to go home because everybody in here is more afraid of you.
I wanted to be as far away from that fucking dressing room as I could be. Then I saw Invader walk in. He had on a different shirt. He continued business like nothing had happened. I don't know why he came back. I really don't. I'm thinking, man, what fucking balls this guy?
The thing that was so horrible was when I got back to the dressing room. It was more horrible than the stabbing. It was more horrible than him being on that table. The most horrible thing that happened on that night was going back to that dressing room and hearing laughter. First, I couldn't believe they didn't cancel the show. That was the first thing. And opening up the door, and the blood on the floor ain't even dry. And they in the dressing room laughing and joking and patting each other on the back, talking about how great the matches were and what a wonderful show it is. I took the freaking chair and I threw it across the damn hallway.
Yeah, here's my main takeaway. Like Tony Atlas, like he's being very vivid and detailed. Like I really, like I kind of believe he, like this is what he believes happened.
A wrestling fan stabbed him in the hallway and he stumbled into the dressing room. I said, that's a damn lie. I said, that's some of the bitch sitting right. That's who stabbed me. I said, that's everybody dressing. He said, they all telling different stories. I said, all they all fucking liars. I said, he the son of the bitch that stabbed him.
He was telling the cops, hey, that's the guy you need to fucking arrest right there.
Dude, and Dutch Mantel's corroborating his story, so that's all I need to hear.
You're a policeman and you come into a situation that you think could be staged. They didn't think it was real. Tony knew it was real, so they were actually engaging each other from different perspectives. That's why the disconnect.
In professional wrestling, the line between fiction and reality is intentionally blurred. As the night's events continued to unfold, it would be nearly impossible for anyone to tell the difference or to know the truth.
Man, that's fucked.
Tony Atlas. Can you tell us about the timeline of events as he laid it out in all your research?
You have a very real situation, like in the fabricated world of wrestling. So when the police show up to investigate, they immediately think that they're inadvertently being worked into a wrestling storyline. These matches are extremely bloody, extremely in your face. That's what they associated with wrestling down there. So it's just so bizarre to see a crime scene, a potential murder scene, and then be like, oh, this is part of a wrestling story.
And what's fascinating too is that the heels are in one locker room, the baby faces are in a locker room. So the stabbing took place in the babyface locker room, and in the heel locker room, you got Abdul the Butcher. When he gets the news that Brody had been stabbed, he also thinks it's a work, and that is part of the storyline.
Okay, more from the fallout of the killing of Bruiser Brody.
Woof. Dude, learning a lot of stuff about the story I did not know about.
Life is sweeter without her.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and how fast you can get started.
That's $78.29.
Get me commercials, pal.
Take out the cheese puffs and the broccoli. I mean, who likes broccoli?
Hello. Only $22.87 to go.
It would be faster with the Empower app. Empower Cash Advance gives you up to $300 instantly. No late fees, interest, or credit checks.
I've got money. Keep the cheese puffs, but leave out the broccoli. Get Empower Cash Advance up to $300 instantly. Download the Empower app today.
We're back on Dark Side of the Ring Confidential. I'm your host, Conrad Thompson. And before the break, we saw Bruiser Brody fighting for his life. Over the episode here with his retelling, right?
It's crazy too that in a locker room filled with wrestlers, that Tony is the only one who appears to have actually actively done something to try and save Brody's life.
Absolutely. And it's something that you find very evident in the wrestling business, is that notion of everyone's kind of in business for themselves. But, Tony is a real guy. He's really, trying to save somebody's life.
Well, let's get back to it. Here it is. Dark Side of the Ring, the killing of Bruiser Brody.
Whoop, whoop.
While Bruiser Brody was fighting for his life at the hospital, Tony
So then that night you wrestled.
Carlos Colon, your time is over. That night I wrestled Aaron Sheik, the night of the murder. I just went and did it. I just went in the match. He locked up with me. He said, how's Brody? The doctor said he's going to be okay. He said, you fucking wrestling fan. They told me that they're dangerous. I said, Jose Gonzalez did it. Right there. The sheet just straight right up, just like that. That fucking motherfucking Jose Gonzalez, Vader motherfucker killed the King Kong of the Brody. He rolled right out of the ring and went straight back to his locker room. We only wrestled for maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay, I gotta go look that up. Iron Sheik versus Tony Atlas, 1980. I'm gonna look that up right now.
He said, don't go to your room. They are looking for you because you talking. So I took my bag and I went down to the beach and I walked the beach the whole night. I tried to lay down and get some sleep, but kept waking up every time I hear something. I didn't work. I'm paranoid as hell now.
I go back to that hotel, walk to the front desk, and I told the girl, and I said, listen, if Brody gets any calls to his
I'm not seeing anything on YouTube.
please put them through.
All right, I'm gonna rewind a little bit so I can kind of
Kept ringing.
catch back up with what's going on.
He locked up with me. He said, how's Brody? The doctor said he's going to be okay. He said, you fucking wrestling fan. Jose Gonzalez did it. Right there. She just straight right up, just like that. That fucking motherfucking Jose Gonzalez, Vader motherfucker killed the King Kong of the Brody. He rolled right out of the ring and went straight back to his locker room. We only wrestled for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I go to my room and a guy named Savio Vega, they call him TNT. He said, Tony, I got your bag. I went to your room and got your bag for you. I said, for what? He said, don't go to your room. They are looking for you because you talking. So I took
Dude.
and I went down.
And I just gained a shitload of respect for Savio Vega for having like Tony Atlas's back saying, hey, here's your bag. Don't go to your room. They're looking for you because you're talking. Like, damn. Dude, Savio Vega's a bro.
And I said, listen, if Brody gets any calls to his room, please put them through tonight.
All right, let me go back to what Dutch was saying here. Sorry, guys.
Kept ringing. Like this time.
We only wrestled for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I go to my room and a guy named Savio Vega, call him TNT. He said, Tony, I got your bag. I went to your room and got your bag for you. I said, for what? He said, don't go to your room. They are looking for you because you talking. So I took my bag and I went down to the beach and I walked the beach the whole night. I tried to lay down and get some sleep, but kept waking up every time I hear something. I didn't work. I'm paranoid as hell now.
I go back to that hotel, walk to the front desk, and I told the girl, and I said, listen, if Brody gets any calls to his room, please put them through tonight. Said, okay.
Yeah, dude, Vega's a bro.
About midnight.
Dude, and so is Dutch and Atlas.
Answer and give them a piece of my mind. So I picked up the phone and there was this woman and she said, this is Nancy Cologne. Well, Nancy Cologne is Carlos Cologne's wife. I'm calling to let you know there's been an accident and I think you better come to Puerto Rico. So I called a hotel and they put me through to Dutch.
She said, who is this? I said, well, this is Dutch. She said, well, what happened, Dutch? And I knew it was pretty serious, but I was saying, well, Brody had an accident and it's pretty serious.
And that maybe you should come to Puerto Rico. He didn't have any details.
After I got the call, I tried to go to sleep. I couldn't sleep. Like I said, the adrenaline was flowing. About 8 o'clock, I get up. I go downstairs to the front desk. I said, can you do me a favor? She said, yeah, what do you need? I said, can you call the hospital that my friend Brody is in? She said, yeah. So she calls out there and she's speaking in Spanish. And I hear luchador, I hear wrestler, and then she starts crying. And I look at her and she said, I'm sorry, your friend didn't make it. I said, what? She said, no, he died last night.
How did you first learn that Brody had passed?
Abdullah told me at the meeting, when I slept on the beach the whole night. So now I'm going back to the hotel. I saw Abdullah and some of the wrestlers in the lobby. They said, Tony, we having a meeting. And they waiting on you to tell them what happened.
Did you ever have the hotel room meetings?
Hotel? Hell no. No. No, sir. No.
Abdullah told us that he didn't have.
He lied.
Maybe they did, but not me. You understand?
He lied to you. If that's what he told you. I'll tell you what happened.
I had 5%. Up to me. Well, if you own some of the territory, right? Who's going to come and say, "Oh, this happened," or this guy done this guy done that"? They were in their own little bunch.
All right, and now Abby's admitting he owned 5% of the territory.
Being all the
All right, now I'm 100% believing Tony Atlas over Abdullah the Butcher. Like, yeah, now I'm 100% on Team Tony in this situation.
Somebody's room. And somebody said, man, are they investigating this or what? I mean, a man died. What's going on here?
I just started thinking.
Yeah, in this story, Tony Atlas, Dutch Mantel, and Savio Vega were the baby faces. 100, lab rat.
He said, your story is different than everybody else's. He said, we'll be contacting you for a court date. He said, now that we got a witness to it.
Whoop, whoop, what's up, Leprechaun of NOFC? Good to see you, pal. Yeah, but in this situation and looking at everything, I kind of believe I believe Tony Atlas more. Like, he was very vivid and detailed. Like, the amount of creativity you would need to come up with, like, what he has said in this thing, like, man. And then plus Abdul the Butcher admits, oh yeah, I also own 5% of the territory too. Like, all right, well now you're admitting you have a monetary investment in the cover-up of this. So now I can't trust your testimony.
What? How's he doing? I says, they didn't tell you? Tell me what? I says,
oh yeah, Tony knows he'll get money if he shoots straight, and because he doesn't care.
All you think about is surviving. All I thought about.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Man gets stabbed to death, holding on a damn. He never put that picture down, bro. When I put him on.
But like, to me, what sells me on Tony's like he describes it like he was actually there. Like, he tells it in a way like
the irony of Brody's greatest nemesis.
Like, I believe he's witnessed that.
Beginning of the unthinkable events.
Unless he's the greatest fucking worker of all time.
Okay, let's get this point in the story. He's starting to come off like the heel and all version of events. What do you make of the whole meeting situation?
Well, I mean, the timeline of this whole thing is pretty muddy, and there's no like official account of it anywhere. But you know, Barbara does. We just saw, which to us was just such a startling, wild, and crazy thing that happened. I mean, you know, mixed narration. In the
No Stan Skansky, pal. What's up, Canada Spaceman? Good to see you, pal. Whoop whoop.
Being the one to give Barbara this news.
Right. He's stayed pretty consistent.
Separate the lives are between the Frank Goodish family side and the wrestling side. It's just unbelievably fascinating.
You couldn't write that.
That was the main reason we chose Abdul the Butcher for this episode. Was that moment.
Stay tuned. It's next. The conclusion. The killing of Bruiser Brody.
You know, in a weird ass way, back in those territory days, I could see that happening where it's like, all right, I know he had to do what he had to do to save his life, but you know, that whole old school mentality is still kicking in, and he got to punish you in some way.
These days, what can you share?
Barbara's interview was interesting. She's been through so much trauma with this. She said that the only way she can talk about this is she has to talk about it almost as if it happened to somebody else. And Jeff, you know, we were so glad that because first off, he looks so much like his dad. He was so young when all this happened. I mean,
The Iron Sheik will break that jabroni Hulk Hogan and humble him.
Okay, guys, don't forget, stick around to the end of this episode. We're going to hear from a brand new voice. We haven't heard from Sabia Vega. But without further ado, here it is.
Good thing I hadn't eaten any quarter pounders, pal.
Alone with her.
Sorry for those that got affected. Holy shit! Like somebody like at one death. Like damn, pal. Shit. Rest in peace. I'm sorry.
Everybody is speaking Spanish. They took me to the window, and you could just see all these bodies in there. And then, of course, the reality, boom, just really started to sink in.
Not sure how long it took before it set in. We were in the hotel room, and I remember crying
Dude, that's cool.
incessantly for hours.
Like, those seem like they would have been cool guys to
I still didn't realize it.
hang out with.
And it probably took, I don't know how long.
That makes sense, Canada Space, man. That definitely makes sense.
What do I do? How do I bring him back to the States? And it was like I heard his voice. And it was like he was saying,
Yeah, exactly.
You know what to do.
Exactly, Canada Space, man.
I need to cremate him down here and take him home.
Yes, he was the original Hawk Tua.
Very simple.
Imagine if he was still alive when the Hawk Tua girl like first went viral. He would have jumped right on that and tried to do like a partnership.
About 3 or 4 days later, from what I hear, he was taken down to a local precinct, never was put into cell. Bail was made for him immediately by some big businessman there, and he walked back home the same day.
And so did you come to learn anything about Jose Gonzalez?
I know that I'm not going to say his name. I know that the attacker.
Whoop, whoop, yeah, pal.
From what I can hear from everybody, the whole court case was a sham.
I mean, do you think there was a cover-up?
The only guy that could have covered was Javika Knight, and we didn't do that. You know, we told the judge and the courtroom, we said what we saw, because I didn't see any stabbing, I didn't see any weapon, I didn't see anything. A guy named Tony Rubber, the Boston bad boy. Thank God on those. Tony turned to put the channel, put the TV on certain channel. They're talking about the Puerto Rico thing. I flipped the TV on. I see Jose on TV coming out of the courthouse. I said, what they had a hearing? He said, no, they have a trial. They let him go for self-defense. You got to be kidding me. They never contacted me.
So you never got contact?
No. Never did. Never did.
My subpoena came in the mail for my appearance, and I already knew the verdict by the time my subpoena arrived at my door. It was 10 days late.
Yeah, for real, pal.
The verdict came back not innocent, but not guilty. And Jose never testified. They believe what his attorney.
Yeah, how funny was that Dutch Mantel's subpoena didn't come in until after the trial had concluded?
It was the major reason that Jose was acquitted, because they believed Brody was this character, this wild-looking psychopath, hulking figure, and his defense was self-defense.
Do you believe it was really self-defense?
Well, I don't know. I respect the law. So sad. You know, I want to talk about this. He said,
1 month after Bruiser Brody's passing, All Japan Pro Wrestling hosted a massive tribute show, inviting both Barbara and her son Jeff to be honored in front of the 17,000 fans.
Oh yeah, you could no doubt there was some sort of organized crime involvement in that in some form or another.
Brody. And I'm just standing there in the ring with Jeff, and it was the most, I mean, just to know how much he was respected.
May peace be with you, Bruiser Brody. Bruiser Brody was a brawler.
Yeah, those guys are pretty cool.
It will always live on as such.
Guess that I was going to be a professional wrestler. Once I started in professional wrestling, learned the ropes. If I had it to do over again, I think that I would probably even pass up my 3 years in the NFL and devote them to wrestling because it's been that good.
He was one of its biggest stars in the 1970s and 80s and is considered one of the all-time greatest wrestlers in Japanese wrestling history, where he's still celebrated today as an icon.
Yeah, justice would be great. Some personal justice would be more gratifying than some legal justice, honestly.
every dog has his day. And not kill a legend. See, legends never die. So if that was Jose's thing, is to kill a legend, he failed miserably.
Nobody knows the exact circumstances, including the words, if any, exchanged between Frank Goodish and Jose Gonzalez on the night of Brody's death. It remains one of wrestling's darkest, most intriguing mysteries.
Are you kidding me? Jose Gonzalez, the man who fucking murdered Bruiser Brody, does children parties. Fuck him, man. And still talking about him today. Yeah, pal.
Welcome back to Dark Side of the Ring Confidential. We've just watched the conclusion, the killing of Bruiser Brody, but there's still so much to talk about. What can you tell us about
newspapers from Puerto Rico translated to sort of understand like what the day by day I remember it was something that we saw on Instagram. Our friend, $1 Million Champion of Philadelphia.
Okay, so like Brody actually named his kid, named the guy who stabbed him to hospital staff. That's pretty cut and dry there, pal. Oh, nice, Savio Vega stepping in and talk. Okay, cool.
Coverage begins Friday at 7 Eastern on Fox.
When my hair started to thin, I thought, am I gonna have any hair left? After I gave birth, my hair wasn't even thinning; it was gone.
When I spoke
Oh,
to
no doubt, pal. Absolutely no doubt.
it's 100%
Money passing hands, all that shit.
Within 3 months, my hair was fuller.
It's longer. It's so much thicker.
I had more after hiding it for so many years.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
Create a backyard that's out of this world. Right now, save $50 on the MSA 60 CB battery chainsaw. Real steel. Find yours.
Steel. I got balls of steel.
Welcome back to Dark Side of the Ring Confidential. We're back at the table with the creators of the series, Evan and Jason. Before we get to our special guest, Savio Vega, I do want to ask, what do we know about the murder weapon?
Well, in the trial, when Carlos Colon testified, he had mentioned that when he spoke to Jose Gonzalez, Jose had said that Brody had tried to kill him. You know, this was a whole self-defense story that was happening here.
Jose said that Brody had brought the knife into the situation and that the knife was in his bag.
Any of the wrestlers who commented on that, it's been like, well, if you know anything about Bruiser Brody, that man doesn't need a knife. If you're going to talk about self-defense, like, well, where's the knife?
Guys, we mentioned earlier, this episode was not only the pilot, but really a labor of love for y'all. Is there anything you wish you would have done differently?
We would have loved to have interviewed someone from the Puerto Rico scene. Savio Vega was there, but with our time that we have and the budget that we have to make our show, we weren't able to fit him in.
Well, the time is now. We finally had a chance to catch up with Savio Vega. Let's hear from Savio now.
Give me Savio, pal.
Hey, Savio, thanks so much for doing this.
Yes, sir.
Just to kick things off, we know that you knew Brody and you knew Jose and how things worked in that territory. What do you think happened that night between the both of them?
I hear some stories that they owe him money. Well, how much they owe him? Because I remember Brody come to Puerto Rico so many times, and he was a money man. Everybody, they come to wrestle, get their money, and go home. If they owe him money, why he come back? Another theory that I hear was in New York when Invader was wrestled there. The old Vince McMahon told Brody to take care of Jose because he was one of the Puerto Ricans to help him there, and you know, giving some percentage of the match. And I hear that Brody don't give him nothing.
Savio, in the episode, you know, Tony Atlas talks about how you came to him and sort of warned him about some possible retaliation. Can you take us through your side of that story and what really happened between you and Tony there?
So I remember he was telling me what happened, and here come Invader too to translate. When he was translated to the top, just looking at him and he said, "What happened to this motherfucker? He won the same thing that happened to him." So when he said that, I remember I just looked at him like, what a cold son of a bitch. What I told Tony, I remember, I said, brother, just be careful in the hotel. But I don't remember going to the room and grab the bags and let's go. And, you know, that sounds like a movie.
Savio, one of the things we weren't able to expand upon in the episode was the trial of Jose Gonzalez, which you were a part of. Can you just take us through your memories of that day?
The trial was okay. They sent me the papers to be there. None of the guys from the States arrived. They asked address, no, but the company knows about the address. You know, they said, well, they say they can found it. I said, why they can found it when they print and they book the guys to come to Puerto Rico? I was maybe sit down, I don't know, 25 minutes maybe. Here come their lawyer, asked me a couple of questions. Wasn't that many, just the clothing. This is the clothing the Invader have on, yes. And that's it. You could go home.
I wanted to ask one more question about the trial because I remember you telling the story, I think it was on Jim Cornette's thing or maybe another thing where you talked about running into Jose or Jose's attorney in the bathroom or something. Can you tell us that story?
When I went to the bathroom, behind me was the lawyers and Jose. And Jose grabbed my hand and shook my hand. And when he shook my hand, I just look at him and say, do you know he have a kid? You know, and he said, yeah, and walk out. And here the lawyer said, thank you. Thanking me for what?
when I was there, I was like thinking for what? For saying the truth? If you're saying the truth is bad, so they have a problem. I don't have a problem.
All right, Savio, thank you so much, man.
Like, damn,
Let me know.
This Brody story.
dude.
Tragic tale.
Wow. Dude, like that exchange, like I heard between, like him telling, like Savio Vega telling that short exchange between him and Jose Gonzalez and his lawyers, man, that makes me even say fuck Jose and his lawyers even more. Holy shit.
Still very much part of the spirit of the show and the reason why we do this. Well, thank you guys for all your hard work. And thank you all for joining us here on Dark Side of the Ring Confidential. And most of all, thank you, Mr. Bruiser Brody.
Because when Savio told him, like, he has a kid, right? Legally, those words don't really make the case for Brody's side. They just kind of, But yeah, damn, pal. All right, guys, we're going to do it there for tonight. HMG After Dark. Tomorrow morning, make sure you check out the Next Level Wrestling with you for our pals, The Vet, Big Ray Hernandez, and then also tomorrow night, we got AEW Dynamite Watch Along. And of course, my a new permanent spot after the AEW Dynamite Watch Along. I'm doing streaming live on twitch.tv/LG Brandon Whoop Whoop. Thursday night. What are we doing Thursday night? Thursday morning. I'm not sure. But I know Thursday night we're doing HMG After Dark once again. Friday night's going to be a little bit sketchy. I have to work late. Like very late. So we're doing a late start of SmackDown. Picking it up at 1.25 times speed. But it will be a late start. We'll be doing it. And then Saturday night. I'm sorry, hold on. Yeah, Friday Locker. Make sure you check that out. Saturday morning, check out the Smack Attack. And then Saturday night, we're doing the Impact Watch Along. Replay and whoop whoop. And then Saturday morning, I'm sorry, guys. Sunday, Del Wreckage with the Vet and Jimmy T. And then Sunday night, we're doing a replay watch along of Bound for Glory. So yeah, hope to see you guys then. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Much love to you, pals. Whoop whoop. We'll catch you then.